Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be considering how to do item analysis under the classical test theory. So we have learned in the past how to download and install RStudio. If you have seen this video for the first time, you can check on my channel. We have put videos on how to download and install R and RStudio. We have also looked at how to convert data, how to prepare data for analysis in R. So today we are just going to go straight to how analysis can be done. Item analysis can be done for multiple choice item under the classical test theory. The goal of the classical test theory is to check the psychometric qualities of the test item as well as the reliability of the overall test. So let's go ahead and do the analysis. So how do we go about this? R has already been installed. So on your system, open R. After you have double click on R to get it opened. So if your R open properly, this is what you are going to get. This is exactly what you are going to get. So you can ignore update. So we go ahead to do this analysis. So what is the first thing to do for us to get this analysis done? The very first thing you have to do is to make sure you create a folder anywhere you like on your computer. I like the desktop. I've created a folder for the analysis that I'm about to do, and I call the folder SPSS. Inside the folder I have the data that I want to use for the analysis, and I've also converted the data to a CSV format. We have done this in our last video, so you can go ahead if you have seen this for the first time to check how you can convert your data to the CSV format. Having done that, the next thing I want to do is to come back to R and begin the analysis. So the first thing I want to do is to check where is my R working from. So how do I do that? I just type get WD. As you are typing, it will make suggestion for you. So just click on this one here. After clicking on get WD, you then bring your cursor to let your cursor come after the close bracket, then you press enter. So the system is telling us, so we can see that R is working from document, but we have created a folder on our desktop. So what do? We go ahead and change the working directory from this document to the folder that we have created on the desktop. So how do we do that? You click on section. From section you click on set working directory, and when you click on set working directory, you have these options. From the options you can see choose working directory. Click on choose working directory. After you click on choose working directory, it will take you directly to the folder where R is working from naturally, which is your document. So I have my data, I have my folder that I have created for this analysis on my desktop. So I have to go locate my desktop, click my desktop, click desktop, then locate the folder inside my desktop. This is the folder, CTT. So I'll click on it and then I'll click on open. After you click on open, the folder, the working directory would have changed to CTT, and that is why you are seeing CTT as the last thing here. If now that the folder has been set to a working directory, I can go ahead and import the data that I want to analyze. So you click on import data set here, but if you can't see import data set, maybe the last time you used R, the last button you pressed here is history. You discover that import data set is not seen. For you to make it obvious, make sure anytime you want to import this item, make sure this environment is checked, is the one that is active. So if it's not active, just click on it. When you click on it, you are going to get the option to import your data set. So you just go ahead and click on import data set. When you click on import data set, you are going to see from test in bracket base. Click on this very first one, and that is the reason why we converted our data to the CSV, because CSV is a kind of natural environment, natural data file that are recognized easily. So you click on it. After clicking on it, it will take you to the folder where you have the data saved in. That is why we changed the working directory in the first place. After, you can see it's coming here directly to the folder that we have changed to. The data that we want to analyze is the CSV format, so we click on CSV format. After, you click on the CTT. So to know CSV and Excel, they carry almost the same thing, but there's a difference. If you look at data very well, you see A and you see a comma below it. That is the CSV format. And if you can't do that, just hover your cursor on the data file. You can see this one is Excel worksheet. So hover on the second one, is telling that is a comma separated files value. So this is the particular word. You click on it and then you click open. So when you click open, this will come up. The very first thing you are having here is a name. It's asking you, do you want to name the name? Do you want to give a different name to this data file? What name do you want it to bear? It is okay with the name that is coming with is fantastic, so let's leave it that way. But if you're interested in changing the name, this is where you change it. For example, if I'm interested in changing the name of the data file to something else, I will just erase what I have here and type the name. But whatever name you want to type, keep it short, simple, and descriptive enough. So the next thing you want to see is the heading. This heading is where you tell the computer, this R, whether your data has heading or not. So by default, it will assume that your data has no heading. And when you come here, you can see it has introduced V1, V2, indicating header for your data. But we have a header for the data, which is IT1, IT2, and all of that. So because we have a header, we will tell the system that we have a header by clicking yes. When that is done, you discover that the V1, V2 have disappeared. So the other important thing to work with here is this NA.string. What is this telling you? It's just telling you that you should indicate whatever value or whatever alphabet or symbol that you use to represent your missing variable. In the case of objective tests like this, multiple choice achievement tests like this, there are times students won't pick any option, so you don't score that student 0 for not picking, but you just indicate that this student did not pick the option by putting omit there. People use all sorts of value to represent omitted scores, but public examining bodies and psychometricians like to use omit, capital O. So for this data that I'm using, I have represented the missing response, the omitted response, with capital letter O, not 0 but O. So I will type O here. After that is done, I will then scroll down to click on import. So when I click on import, my data is ready. So you can see now this is my data, item 1 and 2 and all of that. So the next thing I want to do is to go ahead and do the analysis. I would have just start the analysis right away, but R is an environment. I need a package to get this done for me. So there are several packages that can be used for item analysis under classical test theory. In this particular video, we are going to be making use of a package called Psychometric. So you go ahead and then install the package. But before you do that, make sure you are connected to the internet. So to install package, make sure you can see file, plot, help viewer, view presentation, and all of that. First, click on package. When you click on package, these two options will become obvious to you: install package and update the existing packages that you have. So I want to install this package for the first time. I have it on my system, but if you are analyzing CTT item analysis, the first time you need a package to be installed. So how do you get that done? So you come here and you click on install. When you click on install, ensure that what you see here is repository in bracket CROAN, and then you then come to under this place where you have package separated with space or comma to type in the name of the package that you want to use for the analysis so that you can install it. The name of the package I'll be using is Psychometric. It's spelled TSYCHO. As you are typing, it will bring you packages that are in that with that name. So you can see the Psycho and all of the Psychometrics, the Psycho tools, the Psycho tree, and all of that. But the particular one that I want to work with is Psychometric. So what do? You click Psychometric. After clicking Psychometric, make sure that what you have here, install dependencies, is checked. If it's not checked, if it's this case that is not checked, make sure you check it so that it can install other dependencies that will make the packages to work effectively. So after all of that is done, you then click on install, and then the installation of the package should be. You have to wait for the package to be downloaded and installed. But a successful package installation will bring you several messages, but the most of the message it will bring to you is this particular one. The last thing, make sure whatever you do, you see this package, you see this message, package Psychometric, the particular name of the package successfully unpacked and MDS some checked. Once you have that, you are good to go. So we have our package downloaded. The next thing we want to do is to go ahead and do our data analysis, item analysis. So how do you get that done? It's so simple. The next thing for us to do is to call our psychometric package into action. This is because there are several packages that are downloaded into the environment. Haru does not know which one to use, so you have to tell Haru which particular package you want to use for the analysis, and you call it and you make it to become active. How do you do that? You type library, it will suggest to you, so just click on the suggestion, and inside the bracket type the name of the package that you want to use, PSY Psychometric. So you can see it has suggested to me Psychometric. So I'll click on it. After clicking on it, bring your cursor to let it come outside of the closed brackets like this. After that is done, you can press enter. Now it's ready to go. You see all sort of messages and all of that, but don't worry. When you have this greater than sign and the arrow and the cursor blinking, you are good to go. So you begin with the analysis. So the first thing you want to do is to give your analysis a name. So this one we want to do item analysis, so I can just call it item underscore ana. If you are not good with using ana, you could use dot to separate the two words, but whatever you do, make sure you don't use space because it's not acceptable within the R interface. It can give you issues. So the first thing you want to what you will do is either you use dot to separate it or you use the underscore to separate. So let's use dot to separate. So the next thing is you type less than sign and then you put hyphen in front of it, and then you go ahead and type the code for the analysis, which is item dot exam. So item dot exam. So you see, by the time before you are done, it would have typed for you the analysis, that the code for the analysis. And when you click on it, by the other side of your screen, you can see it's showing you what to actually write to get the analysis done properly. So you can see X, this S represents the data file, the Y is equal to null. That's if you are not using a data file precisely. Like for example, if you are using something like intercorrelational matrix and all of that, that's why you have to begin to provide this Y. Y is null, but when you use data set, Y will be none. and then discrim is to print for you at the end of your analysis the extreme point method of discrimination analysis. If you leave it as false, that means that method will not be printed, but if you want it printed, you just type true here. So let's go ahead and then type this continue with the analysis. So the name of our data file that we imported in is ctt_mat. Don't forget, this is underscore, it's not that. So whenever you are looking for the name of your data set, when you have brought it in, just come up here, you will see it. Now R is case sensitive. Don't use small letter when you have used capital letter, they will mean the same thing. Let me use small letter and let's see what will happen. ctt_mat. If I go ahead, it's telling me that no, that this is the data file that you have there. If I go ahead to say I want to use the data and write item discrim equals to true, because I want it to print for me the upper and lower, the extreme point discrimination. So if I press enter, you can see it's telling me that ctt mat is not found. The reason is that this ctt I have here is not the same thing as the ctt here, because arrow is case sensitive, seeing them as different entity entirely. So I have to use the right code. So I'll go ahead and do the and type the code again. Item dot ana less than sign dash item dot exam and then type in the name of my data file. The name of the data file here is ctt. So I'll type ctt. So it will even suggest for me, even when you have more than one data file that you're already there that come with that same name, it will show you all of them. From there you can pick the most appropriate one. This will help you not to make mistake in the course of typing. So I click on the data and I click comma and then I type discrim and then I say equals to true. So after that is done, I bring my cursor to the last to come after the bracket, the closed bracket, and press enter. The analysis is done. So I want to view the output of my analysis. How do you do that? Or the name, how do you do that? Just type the name of your analysis. The name we give to this analysis is item.ana. So I'll just type here item.ana. So it will give me, to suggest it for me. I click on it and I'll press enter. So you can see this is my item analysis. So the very first one is the sample dot standard deviation. That is the standard deviation of the responses. Item dot total. This is the item point bisexual correlation. Item dot tot without. This is also point bisexual correlation. These two things are point bisexual correlation. This first one represents the point bisexual correlation when the score on this particular item is included. But the real point bisexual correlation should be the relationship between the item and the total test without the score that this particular item contributed to the total test score. So the one we will use for representing the discrimination, for the discrimination of this particular test item, is this item.tot.woi, and then you can see the difficulty here. This one is the difficulty of the test item. So if you scroll down, you are going to see, scroll down very well, you are going to now see the discrimination. The traditional discrimination before now is the extreme point. So the one used for this particular, this software use, is the extreme 27%. So I mean upper 27 and lower 27% of the performance of the student belonging to the upper and lower 27% were what the software used in estimating this item discrimination. So you can see the value for the discrimination. Now when you are picking the test item, because the essence of the classical test theory analysis is to identify poor items that are not functioning well, and items that are good enough to be used for a real examination. So there are several rules out there that determine which you use. At what point will you say an item is doing well, or an item is point bilateral correlation is more than 0.2 or equals to 0.2, you can say the item is discriminating well. So for difficulty, there are several rules out there. For achievement test, the purpose of the test actually determine, but for normal achievement test in a large scale assessment or for a teacher made test, they want everybody to be accommodated. So normally experts recommend 0.2 to 0.8. So if the difficulty is equal to 0.2 or is equal to 0.2 or fall along that range between 0.2 and 0.8, not less than 0.2 and not greater than 0.8, you can say the difficulty of the item is good. In this case now, this item is not good enough because the difficulty is less than 0.2. For the discrimination, same thing, there are several rules out there, but whatever rule you want to do, you can go and check. Whatever rule you are using, ensure you indicate the rule that you are using. We don't necessarily have to use this discrimination and use the point bilateral correlation. It was as a result of the criticism that this extreme rule attracted that led psychometricians to using the point bilateral correlation. So it's either you are using the point bilateral correlation or you are using the traditional discrimination index, but I would recommend you use the point bilateral correlation and the difficulty to identify the functionality of your test item. So another thing we can also obtain here is the reliability of the scale. And how can you do that? All you just need to do is to type alpha, and then just just put inside the bracket the name of your data file, which is ctt_mat, and then you press enter. It will indicate for you what is the reliability of your test. So before we go, one more thing we have to learn is that we have to learn how to save our data to the folder that we have created. How do you do that? It's simple. So you just type sync. After typing sync, then inside you open bracket, and inside the bracket put the quotation, put double quotation mark, and then type the name that you want the file into which the data will be saved. Give it a name. So I'll give this one ctt. Okay, I can even give it item analysis. Can give it analysis. Then you now type .txt to tell the type of file that you want the file to be created in. I put it as free text format, so I .txt and press enter. After that, you then put in the name of your analysis to save the output. So for the item analysis, I guess the name is item ana. So you type item ana and press enter. Another thing that you also want to save is the reliability of the test. So you can type alpha and put in the name of the data file, which is ctt_ana, and then press enter. After that is done, if you go back to your folder to check, the output would have been saved there. So after that, you want to tell the system to stop saving into that folder, because if you continue to type another analysis, the output will go straight into the file that you have created inside the folder for this analysis. So we close the file that we have created by typing sync. This time we won't put anything inside what we have typed, and then we press enter. So if you go back to your desktop and open the data file, the folder that you have used for your analysis, you will see that the folder has been created. So you can open it to see the result that you have. So you can see item total, item.tot difficulty. You can see also the discrimination, and at the end of the day you can see the overall reliability estimate. So thank you so much. In the next video we will be considering how to do item analysis with another package called CTT. The advantage of that particular one is that, you know, in this one we only analyze the scored responses. That package gives you the opportunity of providing the key and analyzing the distractors, because that is also very important when you are constructing your test item. The distractors must be functioning as distractors. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.